This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening. Let me know once you are able to see my screen. Is my screen up, guys?
Yeah, yes, it's
Yes,
visible.
Abu, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So in yesterday's session, like we got to know what is performance testing and what is performance testing life cycle, and also the tool introduction and also its architecture, and also we had gone through the sort of course content, what all the things will be included in our upcoming sessions. Okay, and also we checked like step by step, like how many steps we have in the cycle, which starts from like NFR, which is non-functional requirements, till signing off the project. Okay, now today we are going to check exactly what all the things will be included in end-to-end non-functional requirements. Okay, so this is the very first step of performance testing lifecycle, and it is going to play a very key role in our projects. Okay, so yesterday, like we just gone through like few things, like just what is its application background and what all the things will be included, excluded, and key scenarios and all this stuff. Now we'll go in detail. Okay, and also before going ahead with the NFR, I just want to add one more point. So, in performance testing, when someone asks you like exactly what all the things you're gonna to focus when you do performance testing, exactly what's the main motto of doing the performance testing. So we can simply say like, so we will be focusing on checking the application speed, how speed or how fast your application is responding, and how much your application is scalable. We all know the scalable, right? Yesterday we discussed, if IRCTC application is applicable for like 100 users, so is that going to accept 100 more or not? We also need to provide the suggestions in such a way based on the resource utilizations and all this stuff. Okay, and also we should check its stability. So if you're opening the application and if you're not finding any like a sort of bugs or errors, then we can say it is completely stable. So when we need to do all these things before moving the application into its production, because we are expecting a defect free in production. That's the reason why we mainly focus on performance testing. So even if it is including speed, scalability, or stability, the main motto is to see a defect free in production. Okay, and now moving to the very first step of performance testing life cycle. Okay, so this is the very first step, which is NFR. Okay, so which is non-functional requirements. So as said in yesterday's session, so whenever you are preparing food also, we will be taking care of all the ingredients, right? So in the same way, whenever you are trying to do any work, it might be performance or it might be manual or it might be automation or AI, whatever might be the technology, definitely the pre-work will be there, right? So in order to go ahead with that, definitely we need to gather few requirements. Here in this technology, we called it as non-functional requirement gathering. Okay. Okay. Suppose let's take Srinivas. Okay. He is our client. So now let's consider, like whatever we are discussing here, let's consider the same thing with the yesterday's application itself, IRCTC. Okay, Srini is working as a client for IRCTC application, which is Indian Railways. Okay, so here whenever we are dealing with such things, here comes two options. So first thing, either he might be aware of the application, or he is like completely new, he is not at all having any info regarding to the application. Whenever I'm going to ask you any questions, so if you are aware, then you are pretty like you are good to answer those questions. But whenever you are not aware of the things, what we are going to do, we will be checking the same things with the related team. So if you are not aware of any like metric or any data, then if something from the developer, then we will be connecting with our developer. If there is something related to the manual tester, then we will be connecting with manual tester. So but whenever we are doing this for the very first time, there comes BA, business analyst, who is going to fetch all the details from the entire team, might be from the developer, might be from the infra team, or might be from the manual testers, to to fetch the test data details and all this stuff. All these things will be in from the that guy called business analyst. What if the business analyst is not aware of such things? Okay, suppose let's take, we are doing IRCTC application performance testing for the very first time. Okay, and the client Srini is also not having any idea. Okay, and let's consider Vasanthi is working as BA, business analyst. He is also not having any idea on like a response time for the login functionality, or response time for the registration functionality and all this stuff. Okay, being a performance tester, we can like we need to suggest with such standard values. Okay, so we will be having such sort of standard values. If it is login, we can able to accept till 3 seconds. If it is registration, we can able to accept 3 seconds. We need to compare the existing application with, the new application with any existing applications. Okay, suppose this is for train booking, right? So if there is any such application which is into production, then we can check those data logs, and we can able to fetch those details from there itself. So being a performance tester, you should be aware of such standard values as well. Okay, I will be providing those standard values as well in our upcoming sessions. Okay, so here comes, whenever we are dealing with NFR, so here comes two things. One is either it might be newly developed application, or it is already existing application. Existing means it's already into production. Okay, it is already there in production, you can able to book your train ticket. But in this March release, what are Srini requirement? He is asking us to check few more functionalities. Like he is also willing to implement bus ticket booking, and he is also planning to go ahead with flight booking and hotel booking as well. When this will come into picture, if this application is already into production. Okay, production means, as we already discussed that yesterday, whenever the customer is ready to utilize the application from the mobile, or from the system or Windows or whatever it might be, if he is able to access the things, then we can say like it is into production. Okay, first we need to know the application architecture, exactly how the application is completely designed. Okay, like how many servers we have. In servers also, when we talk about the application architecture, so there comes three servers. One is web server, application server and DB server. So I'll show you the basic architecture diagram in the test plan in the next thing. Okay, for now I'll just try a simple thing. Okay, suppose let's take this as your application architecture. Okay, first let's check web server. This is one server which is web, and this is app server, and this is DB server, which is nothing but database, and this is application server, and this is web server. Okay, what do you mean by web server, what do you mean by application, and what do you mean by DB server? Okay, web server is going to execute only the static request, means there will be no change in the things. Suppose if you want to navigate to any application, what we will be, if you want to open the IRCTC, we will be simply typing like www.irctc.co.in. Okay, so IRCTC, right? IRCTC. Okay, so whenever you want to try this, or whenever you want to try like whenever you are trying to navigate to this application, you will be providing one URL. So we can consider this request as a static request because there is no change in this request. We are simply typing it something like on whatever application you want to land, you are simply giving such input and you are landing into that particular application. Okay, if our system is executing such static request, even if you are typing the same thing in your machine also, that is going to land you into the same page, right? Okay, those all will be sending the request from the web servers. Okay, where is that screen? Yeah, web servers. Okay, so you can simply say like, so web server is going to execute static request. Okay, now, so whenever you are typing, whenever you want to log in IRCTC, you will be simply typing that static, something called static, static. Okay, if that got executed, what it is going to do, whenever you are trying to give some input, that will be moving to app server. Okay, so exactly where you are seeing that whenever you are trying that www.irctc.com, it is going to show you this page. And if you are clicking on login, or if you are clicking on register, or if you are clicking clicking on some other options from Hyderabad to Delhi or whatever it might be, so all these functionalities and what are all the things you are seeing into this application, all these dynamic requests will move into app server. So whatever the information that is getting posted from here, that will be moving into the app server. Here what we are going to do, we will be simply playing with this application. Playing means like what are all the requirements that should be considered from the customer side. If you want to book ticket, then you can do that. If you want to cancel, you can do that. Okay, if you want to check your PNR status, if you want to go ahead with any other customer care services, if you want to log in, if you want to register, all the dynamic things will be executed by app server. So whenever there is some request from the web server, that is going to execute all the static request and will push the things to app server. Okay, and if you want to simply check the page, there is no need of DB server. See, if you want to simply land on this page, there is no need of any DB server here. But whenever you are trying to log in this application, or see, whenever you are planning to log in this application, what you will be providing? So you will be providing the username and you will be providing the password. and also this code, and then you will be clicking on sign in button. So whenever you are clicking on sign in button, what exactly it's going to do? So whatever the request we have in this app server, that is moving to the DB server. So it is going to check whether so-called Amulya username and so-called 1234 password is correct or not, is already registered or not from the DB. If that is correct, then DB is going to give you the output to app server saying successful login. Okay, so here app server and DB server is going to communicate in to and fro. So it is like whenever you are giving inputs here, it is going to push those inputs to DB server and get back the information from DB server and will play accordingly. Okay, and also the main thing is like whatever the request you are like dealing with the web server, that may not need DB server, but if you want to check something related to this stuff, either login or registration or whatever it might be, so those requests will deal with DB server. And whenever we talk about the application architecture, there will be 1 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier and n tier. Okay, so it doesn't mean like we should like we will be having only one one web server and one app server and one DB server. Okay, based on the application and based on the capability and scalability of the application, they are simply going to increase the number of servers. Okay, so if the application is like such a huge thing, and if they are planning to go with like high capacity, definitely that is going to have multiple app servers, multiple web servers and multiple DB servers. Okay, so we can consider this application architecture in detail in upcoming sessions. So first we need to, like whenever we discuss about NFR, we need to know like what is app, what is DB and what is web server. Okay, and moving back to next step in NFR. As said, so we discussed a few things in yesterday's session itself, right? Yeah, again I am repeating that. So we also need to know from the Srini, like exactly from which application background our application is developed. Is that from Java or .NET, or is it with Python or JavaScript? So we need to know exactly from which background it is totally developed. Based on these, we are going to pick the protocol while doing scripting in Vusion. Okay, and in scope components, we all aware as per the yesterday's session. So what do you mean by in scope? What all we are going to consider in the current release. Suppose if you are going to release your project by 15th or 14th of March or 21st of March as per the current sprint details, then so based on the complexity and based on the inputs or based on the stuff whatever we are having from the scrum master, we will be adding those modifications and those scenarios in our current release. Okay, so as we are having like limited time, so we can say like, okay Srini, we will be consider the main functionality, login, register, and anyhow we want to book a ticket, right? So we will be considering this functionality, and also PNR status, because anyhow we need to check exactly like whether our trip is going to happen or not, like because like if it goes to waiting list and if it is not moved to confirmed status, then there is like we can't able to journey, right? So definitely this is also pretty much needed. Okay, and if we are talking about the trains, we need to get book ticket, cancel ticket and PNR. This function is also needed. So if you click on cancel, we have two options. E-ticket means nothing but what all the tickets we booked using internet, and this is from the direct railway station. Okay, and also we can able to track the trains. So what all are the key business scenarios that are pretty much needed for a user in order to complete one trip? Whenever you are dealing with this, if you are like unable to find exactly how we are gonna to identify whether this is needed or this functionality is needed, just think as a common user. So if you want to travel from here to there, what all needed from your application? Okay, here also there comes like key business scenarios, and also like there will be two things which is called high priority and low priority as well. Okay, so as said earlier, so if you want to consider register and login, definitely like those are high priority. But now, like buses, flights, you can consider this as low priority. Based on that, so we can like suggest the client Srini, okay Srini, we will be going with these functionalities for now, and we can consider these all into current release. So what are all the functionalities and what are all the terms we will be planning for the current release will be considered as in scope components. Okay, if you're planning to go ahead with bus ticket booking, flight ticket booking, hotel booking into the next upcoming release, then you can simply say like we don't have a plan to do that, so we can like anyhow Srini wants that to be included, but as per the things what all going now, so he don't want to go ahead because of the development side issues or any functionality issues or whatever it might be, or from the timeline issues as well. Then what all will be considered as out of scope can be moved to the next release. Okay, and key business scenarios. So based on the criticality, we can say like okay, login, register, and train ticket booking cancellation will be considered as pretty much needed. So those are nothing but key business scenarios. Okay, and we all know yesterday we discussed about entry and exit criteria. Okay, in order to enter into a plus one, which is nothing but if you are like one of the kid wants to move from like completion after completion of the 10th standard, then he'll be moving to intermediate. So what is the basic criteria? He should pass 10th, correct? In the same way, like whenever you are doing something, definitely there will be a prerequisite, right? So that is called entry criteria. So if you want to go ahead with performance testing, definitely application should be stable. If that is not stable, then we can't go ahead with performance testing. Okay, so here mainly we will be focusing on only positive test cases and only when the application is stable. If you already know that your IRCTC is a completely like a failure thing, then what's the use of doing performance testing for such failed application? There is no use, right? We are not here to like identify what are all the bugs we are having. That is totally different. So here we are like mainly focusing on its stability, scalability, speed, and also here we will be identifying performance bottlenecks. So if you are going with such high load and if you are going with like such scalability, exactly like what type of issues we are facing. If we are going to see like if Amazon is going with some sort of a big billion sale during that period, definitely we might be focus getting some sort of if there is if some sale is happening and they are planning for only 1 hour sale. Okay, and during that period we are seeing a very low prices, what are all in our cart or whatever it might be, definitely like most of the people will be planning to use that application. Okay, in that period we are expecting a huge load and huge hit to the application server. In that type of situations, how our application is gonna to handle? Okay, so all these things will be considered. Okay, when you talk about the entry criteria, what we will be focusing, we should check the application is stable, and also when the development phase and also when the QA phase, manual phase, is completed, then we can say like, okay, fine, we are good to go ahead with this performance testing. Okay. And exit criteria. So if you want to enter into like any topic, definitely there will be some sort of prerequisite. When we can say that like we are done with that, whenever we are doing that particular job in a successful way, then only we can say like we are good to close. We can't close the report with any bugs, any defects, okay, or any issues. So in the same way, we also need to know the exit criteria. Okay, Srini and Vasant is going to let us know like exit criteria of this project is, so we are expecting 3 seconds. If they are unable to tell, then we will be handling sort of standard values. And if our result or report, if it is matching as per service level agreement SLA, then we can say like we are good to close the application from the performance testing team. Okay, that is exit criteria. So if intermediate candidate or intermediate student is like he is good with his result and he already secured a passed status, then we can say like he will be moving to the next stage, which is +2. Okay, so that is simple. So what all the prerequisite being a performance tester, so we are expecting the application should be stable, and we are expecting the dev and manual phase should be completed. In the same way, exit criteria is nothing but whenever our report met SLA. Okay. And also we can question like these are all the questions what we are gonna to post the BA or the client. If they are aware, they are like gonna to tell us. If they are not aware, then being a performance tester, we need to decide. Okay. Then, and we can also question them what type of tool, yeah, planning to do with us. So if Srini is going to tell like, Amulya, we are mainly focusing on sort of efficient result, no matter what about the other things. So we are good with the financial terms and all this stuff, but we need the efficient result. Okay, then we can say like LoadRunner. Okay, and if they were like not aware of what are all the performance tools we are having, Srini is gonna to directly post us. Okay, what are all the tools you guys are having? So can you please do some sort of POC, proof of concept? Can you please go ahead with proof of concept and let us know which is giving you the best and proper result? Then what we need to do? We need to take any 2 to 3 tools, okay, and we will be simply recording and replay the script by doing like minute enhancements, and we will be simply going with very minimum load like 2 3 or 5, something like that. So based on that report also, we can also let the team know, like the client know, yeah, Srini, compared to LR and Jmeter, we are getting the proper and efficient result, and we are getting minimum result here, and we are seeing a major difference in the tool. So, and also based on the complexity and all this stuff, so we will be preferring LoadRunner for this project, or we will be preferring Jmeter for this project. If the client is simply saying like, no, Amulya, we don't have enough financial resources with us, okay, so you'll just go with what are all the existing open source tools, as we are not into the production yet. We are just planning to check whether whatever the application we are having that is working into production or not. If he is considering like IRCTC not into production, okay, or let's take if he is like planning to just like Swiggy and Zomato, if he is planning any so-called food app, okay, and he is not sure like whether that is going to hit like that is going to be fame like either Zomato or Zepto or whatever it might be, Swiggy. So what he what he is going to think, like first we will just move with like 100 users or 1,000 users into the production, and then if this application become like bit moved into production, and if it is getting good name from the customers, if I am getting good feedback from the customers, then I am willing to go ahead with more amount in terms of like increasing the efficiency, in terms of identifying this and that. Till then I don't want to like go ahead with more budget into my application. Then we can simply go with open source tool like Jmeter. Okay, if they already have a license for like any licensed tool, either neoload or LoadRunner, they're gonna to tell like, no Amulya, this is already existing application. So earlier it was with the TCS, and now for this coming release we are planning to switch to Infosys. Okay, so we already paid the licensed like a fee and all the things to the LoadRunner organization. So we are good to go with LoadRunner. Then we can simply say, okay, fine, we will be moving with LoadRunner only. Okay, for each and every question here, like whatever we are discussed so far, that will be totally based on two steps. If it is newly developed, then that is different scenario. If it is already existing, okay, then it will be different scenario. You no need to worry. Like if someone is like, if in interview, if someone is going to ask you like what all the NFRs you will be gathering.
Oh, I'm not able to hear. Hello.
Yes, I do. I'm not sure. Able to
Yeah,
hear.
sorry. How about now, guys?
Now it's fine. Amulya, now
Yeah,
it's
Okay.
yeah,
fine.
it's audible.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was issue with my mic. Sorry. Okay. So, um, exactly where I was. Sorry, I forgot that. Okay, so like whenever they are gonna to interviewer is gonna to ask you, so you no need to worry like okay, this is a very huge thing, you will need to like explain that and this. So you can simply say like, so being a performance tester, our first question will be on we need to check with the client whether the application is newly developed or it is already existing. Based on that we will be like checking the details like application architecture and its technical design and its background, and also what are all the things we have in scope, out scope, key business scenarios, entry and exit criteria. Okay, and tools and monitoring tools. You no need to point like, suppose see we are having like around 16, like it is going to vary from like company to company, but these are all the basic and commonly applicable questions whenever we are dealing with sort of topic NFR. Okay, only like a small the term will vary, but not the meaning behind it. Okay, and also in the same way we will be checking like whenever we are dealing with anything, definitely there comes issue. So we will be like asking Srini whether do we have any monitoring tools. So if it is already deployed, okay, fine, into which application, like is that with the Dynatrace, into which tool, is that Dynatrace or AppD or New Relic or whatever it might be. Okay, if Srini is going to reply, Amulya, I already said no, so we are just planning to check whether so-called food application is going to meet the people requirement or not. So we will be like just keep monitoring tool as out of scope for now. But if you have a chance to check the server metrics, could you please help us with that? Then we can say like, yes, we do have open source tool which is Perfmon. So we will be working and we will be gathering the server metrics from that as well. So anyhow we will be working with the Perfmon in our upcoming sessions. Okay, and we also need to check whether there is any specific time to run. Whenever we work for sort of on-site projects, their timings is different and Indian timings is different. So we will be running the things in their timings in either EST or CST hours, but not into IST. So we need to check, do they have any specific time? So the reason why we need to check is like, see, so if you are planning to book the train ticket at like around 11:30, after 11:30 or after 11:50, I believe. So you can't able to book any ticket, because each and every day, like half an hour to 1 hour of time duration in Indian Railway, they'll just go for maintenance. If you want to try, you can just try to open your IRCTC application at 11:30 or 12 o'clock. It is going to simply say like it is under maintenance. So if there is no specific time, if you are like running the test execution during the off hours, then definitely there is of no use, because during that time we can't even expect any load. Load means nothing but users, so no user is going to log into that application. So what's the use of checking? Okay, if you want to check whether the application is capable for tatkal booking or not, exactly when you need to check? From 10 to 12. 10 to 11 is for AC booking and 11 to 12 is for sleeper class booking. So we need to check exactly like during which time period they are expecting the peak load. Okay, if you want to check Amazon Big Billion Sale, okay, if that is going to happen for only 1 to 3 hours, so you need to check during that period. It doesn't mean like if Amazon sale is going to happen on 11th of March 8 to 9 o'clock, it doesn't mean like we need to check exactly on 11th of what is that, 11th of March 8 to 9. So we are going to create such dummy users, and we will be like hitting the application during that period. Okay, so 1 lakh users we are going to create, and we are going to hit that particular load into the server, and we will be checking how exactly our Amazon application is responding, whether it is completely going to like down stage, or whether it is facing any issues. We will be checking all these things. Okay, so that's the reason why we need to check the specific time. I said no, I mean maintenance period, that comes under some sort of batch process. If they are having some sort of any maintenance, okay, and also batch process will mainly comes into banking applications. Okay, so like whenever there is a DB refresh happen, so whenever they plan to any database refresh happening and all this stuff, if you're working in any organization also, so we will be, no matter what we are into which technology, we will be like getting mails like, so we are expecting shutdown during Saturday or during Sunday for 1 to 2 p.m. or 2 to 3 p.m., something like that. So during that process, like we are expecting some sort of DB refresh and all this stuff. Start of refreshing each and every server over there. Okay, if the application is already into production, so we are not supposed to test during this batch process period, because there is of no use. As the DB, if the DB refreshes happens, so what happens, in few of the applications, suppose let's take, okay, let's consider I am working into any bank. Okay, so whenever we'll take someone. Okay, suppose let's take Radha applied for loan. Okay, so if she applied for loan, so she is going to fill all the details over there. So being a employee here, so what I need to do, suppose let's take, we need to, in order to approve the loan, it should cross 3 stages. Okay, so one is the basic search, and one is from the assistant manager, and the third is from manager. Okay, in such type of situations, okay, so whenever you are planning to do performance testing for this type of applications, each and every test ID, whatever you are planning in your execution, should have all the access. It means test 01 should act as a basic checker. Test 01 should also have the role called assistant manager. Test 01 should also have the role called manager. Okay, so if he is having all these three, then only the loan application is going to satisfy. Okay, in that type of situations, like whenever you are going with this batch process, you might see some sort of role deletions. Okay, so you need to check whether the test IDs whatever you are having is having that particular role or not. And provision to backup. So if you are planning for like if Amazon is planning for big billion sale, okay, and suppose let's take, so here they considered 4 app servers, and let's take they are willing for like 1 lakh users. So suppose let's consider 25k each. Okay, so each server is going to handle 25k. So what happened is like in the mid of execution, suddenly so called second server got failed. In that type of situations, what are all the users that got allocated to second server can't able to book their product, which is totally failure. So we should test in such a way, like we also need to check about the backup. So whenever there is a failure in the mid of the sale, how exactly our servers is going to do. Okay, so no matter what, how much or how many users we are using, so definitely the remaining servers is going to share the failed server users, that will be shared among these three. Okay, we also need to question like, do we have any provision to backup? And UAT timelines. UAT timelines is nothing but, see, like we discussed yesterday, no? So if it is higher environment, and if the application moved to performance environment, okay, then our URL will look like this: isctc.perf, staging, and UAT, user acceptance testing. Okay, so it is nothing but user acceptance testing. So you can't expect the code. So whenever someone says, like someone asks to do performance testing on this application, it doesn't mean like it is ready with UAT. Okay, once they are ready with dev, okay, let me, okay, whenever they are ready with development, whenever they are ready with functional, then only they are going to push the code to higher environment, then only UAT comes into picture. Okay, so in UAT we will be doing our perf testing. But if we have only like they can't even deploy the code from lower to higher into UAT in the very beginning. Whenever that is completely stable, then only they'll push the final code. But if you are having like multiple, if you are having like 15 plus scripts, okay, and you are having only 1 week of UAT, okay, then what you can do, you can make use of any such stable, even though these two are not perfectly stable, so they'll give some sort of replica of UAT, and they will ask us to go ahead with scripting. Okay, most of the time we won't be doing in lower environments, but if there is no chance, if there is very limited time, okay, in 1 week we can't able to do each and every activity, right? So we can simply make use of this for scripting. So once we are done with scripting, we will be aware of the complexities and all this stuff, right? So there will be no change much. So if they are going to provide some sort of stable environment here, then instead of this SIT, we will be simply changing the perf, which comes under parameterization. So we can see that in detail in upcoming sessions. Okay, don't get confused here. So that is UAT timelines. So if they are going to say like, so during this to this period, so we need to do the execution in the same period. Suppose let's take, if that's from 11th of March to 21st of March, then we should do our scripting or execution and report during this period. and also we need to sign off before 21st of March based on the timelines. Okay, and test data. If Srini is asking us to check with 1000 or 2000 load, so we can ask like whether they are willing for unique. Unique means there will be no duplication in the test data. Or if they are going to ask us, okay, you can reuse the test data, then we can just we can use test 01 for multiple users, test 02 for multiple users, test 03 for multiple users, like that. So these things. Okay, guys, able to hear me? Hello.
Yes,
Okay,
Amulya.
okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, fine. So we will be checking these test details. Actually, we can we can able to fetch these details from QA team. They are going to provide that. If they are unable to provide that, suppose if they are not able to provide that UAT, so what we can do? We can simply do one registration script. Okay, what we are going to do? We'll just provide username. Oh, so I'll be recording my script and simply provide all these things: username, full name, password, and email, and I will provide my mobile number, and I'll simply click on submit so that one user get registered, right? So what I'll be doing, so I will be doing the changes in my script enhancements, and how much data I require, I will be making use of the same script and run that for multiple times by designing the scenario. Okay, we can also design that particular scenario. I'll show you when we move to scripting. So if the QA team is going to provide, that is totally fine. But if they are unable to provide that, then also we can able to create our own test data. Okay, by creating a script. And load. If Srini is already aware of the load, like 1500,000, then we will be making use of that particular load. If he says like, no Amulya, we don't have any idea on that load, so you can go ahead with the minimum load, and you can let us know the exact breaking point. Suppose let's take like we are having one particular specific number as our resource utilization or anything. So you want to, if you want to check the capability, what you will be doing? Suppose, see, so consider this is a 5-liter can. Okay, so if you know this is 5-liter, so what we will be doing, like we will be just pouring 1 liter, 1 liter, 1 liter, 1 liter, 1 liter. Then we can say like whenever we are going with more than 5+ liters, then we can say like it is not going to handle that. In the same way, whenever there is server, if you are keep on increasing the load, 1000, 1200, 1400, 1600, 1800, 2000, if you are seeing the metrics, whatever you are getting from your output is pretty good as per the SLA for 2K, then that's totally fine. But if the client is not aware of anything, then what we'll do, like we also need to check exactly the breakdown point as well. So what we'll do, we'll be simply increasing 2100, 2200. Okay, we will be simply designing our scenario. Okay, you are not supposed to, like if it is 2000 or 3000, it doesn't mean like you will be running, yes, like execution for one time here, two times here, three times, this is for fourth time, fifth time, like that. In the same scenario, in the very single hit, you can increase the load 500, 500, 500, and then 200, 200, 100, and like that. So this is nothing but scenario designing, which comes under controller. Okay, it doesn't mean like whenever you are increasing the load, you need to go ahead with multiple runs. Okay, this is like how we are designing the scenario is going to tell you exactly what type of testing you are performing. So that, see, if you identify the CPU is moved to 100% at 2200, then you can say like, okay, this application is capable till 2200. If you want to go ahead with more than 2200, then definitely we need more client resource utilization. It means whatever the hardware capacity you are having, you should increase that capacity from 1 GB to 2 GB or 10 GB to 20 GB, like that. Okay, that is all. That is called, in order to identify such breakdown point, that is called stress test. Okay, we are having multiple types of performance testing. Okay, and if the client is not aware of load, okay, and if he is not aware of any metric whatever we are fetching from our performance testing, then we will be doing some calculations in order to find all these things, which is called workload modeling. Okay, so if you know this calculation, then definitely it's going to be adding one more point in your resume, because in most of the interviews they are going to ask you to go ahead with one calculation of, suppose if I am expecting, okay, if IRCTC client is expecting 10,000 tickets, booking, or whatever it might be, 10,000 tickets booking. So how much load the application is going to handle? If you want to go ahead with the 10,000 hits to the server, IRCTC server, okay, how many users are needed? So if you simply say like 10K, it is not going to make a sense, because like all the users is not going to go with only single hit. Okay, they are not going to like only click on login or only click on register. Okay, whatever the 10,000, it is nothing but only related to one transaction, that is related to hit. Hit means if this is server, as it is a server, whatever the input you are giving to that server, just like if you are going with www.irctc.com, then one hit. If you are clicking on login, another hit. If you are clicking on that and this icon, then that will be another hit. But if you want to check only, suppose let's consider if this is only for the login, then that is different scenario. And also, like suppose if I want to okay, 10,000 users and for 10,000 transactions. Okay, but here Srini wants to go with 5 tickets booking, and Vasant wants to go with 2 tickets, and Bhaskar wants to go with 10 tickets, and Radha wants to go with 3 tickets. Same. Sai Charan requirement is different, Nagastri different is different, and Yadi different is different. So we need to design the scenario in such a way, okay, as per the customer requirement. We can't simply say like, if it is like 10K tickets booking, we need 10K users. Okay, the main thing in performance testing is the simple. So we should design the things in such a way as per the real user. Okay, how the real user will do? Like, see, if I plan to like log into this application, I just got like, I am trying to book one ticket. Meanwhile, I got another call. So what I did, I'll just close this and I'll move to another call. Okay, if I consider the Srini, if he wants to book one ticket or 2 tickets, what he'll do, like based on his requirement, he'll just book one ticket now. And if he is willing to book the another ticket after some time, then he'll be doing that another time. So it doesn't mean like all the users will do the same things at a time. Okay, based on the real time, our scenario will be designed, our scripts will be designed in the same way, our scenario will be designed in the same way, in order to meet the customer requirement. So it should satisfy the customer requirement. That's the main motto of doing the performance testing. Okay, these are all the questions that we'll be having in NFR. Okay, whenever you move to any organization, definitely they will be having sort of standard template. Even if it is with TCS or Infosys or L&T or whatever it might be. Okay, they will be having a standard template. Okay, what they'll do, like they'll just share this word format with us. Okay, fine, you are working into this project, right? So can you please connect with your client, or can you please connect with the BA and please set up a call including BA and client and development team and infra team and all the required team members, and please try to fill this document as a part of NFR. So we will be just checking with them and filling what are all we know. And if they are not aware, we will be providing some sort of standard values. If they already knew something, they will be filling the document and will revert the document with us. That's it. Okay, this is how we will be dealing with NFR. Okay, tomorrow we can go ahead with the test plan. Okay, so I'll show you one test plan which is already prepared and something like that. Okay. So just for now our basic understanding, I'll just go with how many questions. Okay, let me go with few questions here. Okay, can you please all unmute yourself and please go ahead with these questions. I'm expecting everyone's participation here. What is performance testing? Is it checking functionality or
Option B.
it's okay? Yes. So
Option
when you
B.
Yes. So when we talk about the performance
Yes.
testing, here we will be checking the application behavior with the peak load, and also we will be checking the scalability. Okay. Okay. Moving to next question. What refers to the term load in performance testing? When I talk about the load, is that like number of
It's number of
users?
users.
Okay.
Yes, number of users.
Yeah,
Okay.
number of issues. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Thank you. And what we do in performance testing. So are we going to check the functionality bugs? Are we going to check the bottlenecks, which is nothing but performance issues? And why we are doing that? Like, are we planning to see the defect free in production, or both, or all the above?
To check
Check
bottlenecks.
bottlenecks here.
It's
B
both
and
B and C.
All the above. Okay. If it is all the above, then it is wrong, because checking the functionality bugs is not our
It's like
responsibility.
manual testing. It's come under
Yes.
manual testing, I guess.
Yes, exactly, exactly. It comes under manual testing. So exactly why we are seeing performance testing. So because we want to see defect free in the production. And also here we are identifying the bottlenecks from the performance. So here the answer is both B and C. Okay. And moving to next. Yeah. So performance testing life cycle. So what is the very first step?
It's C. NFR, test plan, scripting, execution, analysis.
Yes, exactly. First, we will be like today we discussed about the very first step, right? So, as said, this is the very first step of our NFR. Okay, yesterday we discussed like what all included in NFR, I mean performance testing lifecycle. So, what are all the things we gathered here? We will be simply preparing a document which is going to act like an agreement between Srini and our organization. It means client and the organization. Once we got approved from this, we will be doing scripting, execution, and analysis. Okay, and sorry, I'm getting some disturbance. Yeah, fine. And moving to next, what is in scope? What all not included and what all included?
It's what all modules included in the current release. It's B.
Yes, it's B. So what all included comes under in scope. Okay, in the same way. One second. Yeah, one second. Now, what is out scope? What is out scope?
What
Guys,
all
if you
modules not
not
included in?
included. Exactly. So what all not included, that comes under out scope. From below, which will generate the required load. So who is gonna to generate
Load
the load?
load generator.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have four components, right? One is VUgen. So don't get confused by seeing virtual user generator. So by seeing the word so-called generator, don't get confused. This is going to generate your load. This is for scripting. Okay. So it is going to create a dummy user. That's it. Virtual user. Okay. So load generator is the component which is going to generate the required load. Okay. In which component we do scripting? VUgen, analysis, load generator, controller.
It's controller, nodes,
VUgen.
low.
Yes,
Okay.
VUgen. Okay, so yesterday we discussed about this when we talk about LoadRunner architecture. Okay, VUgen is the place where we will be doing scripting. Okay, so where we do test execution. So controller, load generator, VUgen, and analysis.
Controller.
Yeah, so VUgen is for scripting and controller is for execution, and in order to report or in order to do analysis something, we have the component called, what is that component out of these four? VUgen is for scripting and controller is for execution, and load
Nice.
runner is, generator is gonna to execute, is gonna to provide the required load, and the only left option is analysis. Okay,
Analysis.
yes, analysis is the component who is gonna to like help us on reporting. Okay, I'll show you. So whenever we are done with our installation, we will be getting these three components. One is VUgen, one is controller, and one is analysis. We covered this in yesterday's session. Okay, so this is the place where we will be doing scripting, and this is the place where we will be doing execution, and this is the place where we will be doing report and analysis. Okay, so tomorrow we'll have a detailed session on test plan. Okay, I'll show you one test plan, and we'll explain those things as well. So let me know if you have any questions, guys. 1 second, I'll close this.
Yes,
Yes, Srini.
Srinivas here.
Yeah.
So basically, I have a question. Yesterday, I missed a demo. Today, so I will going to have that recorded session.
Yeah.
But if not answered, is like in other tools, automation, but the performance, there is always a certification courses. So
Okay.
does HP Performance or whoever has generated have that
Okay. But
certifications for performance or load runner?
do we you're just asking whether do we have certified load runner? That's what you're asking, right?
Yes, right.
Okay. Here we do have certifications, but here it's not like free certifications. So it's
Okay.
like around $200, something like that. And now it
Okay.
is with, earlier we have with some sort of open source, but now it is with the hands of, as I said, see, I'll show you that. So earlier it was with Mercury and HP and also Micro Focus. Now it is with Open Text. So they started for paid certifications now. Okay,
Okay.
so we need to pay for that certifications. Okay, and meanwhile, I'll check like if there is any free certifications available, I'll let you know. Okay, I
Yeah,
can
sure.
help you
Thanks.
on that if there is anything. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Any more
thanks.
questions, guys? Bhaskar, Sai Charan, Vasant.
Mm,
Okay.
no,
Okay,
Amulya.
guys. Yeah, fine. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for your time. Okay, so we'll connect tomorrow on our test plan discussion. Okay, so same time 8 to 9. Okay, and
Yeah.
as this is sort of demo, we are starting bit delay because of fetching the people and ending delaying for 10 more minutes. but going forward, we'll stick to our time, which is 8 to 9. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot.
Have a nice
Thanks.
day. Bye.
Next
Bye.
is